This is the lecture number 25 of the machine learning course. And in this particular session, we are going to talk about the support vector machine. And it is popularly known as SVM. So it's a very interesting topic into the computer science machine learning domain. Why? Because most of the time you want to find out the interpretations that what you are going to do. And this model has a very unique property that you can very easily visualize that what is going to happen into the system, what is happening into the system. So geometrical interpretation is very important thing, and that actually this particular model provides you. So one more thing that you know that your labs related to the SVM you have done. So you may recall some of the things over here, and if you have any questions, you may ask. So let us start our discussion by having some of the basic mathematical things. Initially, we would discuss only very small topic, and then because that is a very interesting topic, and that would be utilized later at a very as a very important topic, important component of this particular model. So when the equation comes, sometimes people find it difficult to relate. So that's why I brought this particular topic so that your understanding becomes good. So what is the topic? I wanted to discuss with you that that can you determine the length of a perpendicular drawn on a line, for example, ax plus by plus c is equal to 0 from a point, let's say that it is x1, y1. So can you find out that what is the length of perpendicular? So many of you know from your intermediate mathematics that d, if the distance is d, so d is going to be the positive part of ax1 plus b y1 plus c divided by under root of a square plus b square. So let me also introduce a small representation here. And this representation is this, that let's assume that this particular quantity represents some w, and I say that w is equal to here a and b in our case. And then there is a constant c, and okay. So and let's assume that the point that I'm talking about is going to be x1 and y1. So what we are actually here doing, that we are actually multiplying w with x. Okay, it's a matrix multiplication. You can write a transpose, and if even if we don't, I don't write the transpose, you please assume that transpose is there. So w is multiplied by x, then it is added with the c, and then we see that this particular part is actually the L2 norm of the w. So the same thing can be represented into this particular formula also. Any problem on this? Can you write yes that it's clear? Okay, because you know that if you take the w transport, it is ab, and if you multiply with the x1 and y1, you know that you would be getting only one value. If you add c to that, you get the same quantity that is written over here. And the bottom side is just a norm of the this particular vector that actually we have just talked about. So all right, so let us try to find out a proof, because we have just written this equation. How come this equation came? We want to understand. So let's assume that you have a line, and this line is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, and there is a point p x1 y1. So there is a point p x1 y1, and you want to find out the distance. What is the distance? This particular distance. Let me draw a line over there and say that path foot of this particular perpendicular is q, and this distance is d. Okay, and so our objective is to find out the d. So the construction says that let me draw a small line from here and say that this point is r. So what is the x coordinate of this particular line? X coordinate would remain the same, therefore it is x1. Since you know that equation of line is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, and becomes x1, you know that this, what is the value? So can you find out the value of y for me? It is minus of c plus ax. So this is what the value is, ax1. This is the value. So he divided by b, because b was also there, so it is divided by b. So this is the quantity that I have written over here. Any problem with this? No. So can anybody write yes or no? Okay. So let me do one more construction over here. Let me go to any other point u on this particular line. That is, let me call it x2 y2, and I go into the same direction up to the x. So I reach to this particular point that is actually uh, b distance apart. Let me say that, let me get another point that is a b distance apart. This is x2 plus b. So this point would be, if this is x2, then next point would be x2 plus b. And what is the y? Because I'm not going into the y direction, so the y value would remain the same. Now let me come down and find out another point that is on the line. Okay, if you find out another line on the another point on the line, it would have the same x coordinate, because you are going just down. So what is this quantity? Can you find out this? You know that x is a x2 plus b multiplied by a, because in this equation you can put what the things. You find out it is b multiplied by uh, I don't know the value of y, I want to find out. Then c is equal to 0. It is going to be like that. So what is the value of this y? What is the value of this y? Y is equal to minus c minus a multiplied by x2 plus b divided by b. So you know that there are some simplifications, because this point lies on the line. You know that there is a relationship that a x2 plus b y2 plus c is equal to 0. So by this you know that what is the value of c. So if I utilize this value and put it at this particular place, so can I get anything? So if you solve this particular thing, you would be actually here. I think you can put ax2 plus by2 plus ax2 plus, I think I have done some mistake. Can you see this? The value of c. Okay. If I want to find out the value of c by putting into this particular formula, it is going to be the negative of all these things. Na? Ax plus by. It is c is equal to minus of this particular quantity. So I have to put negative. So therefore, in this particular equation, when I put the x1, y2, so if I want to find out, it is minus of this and minus of this. Now everything is fine. So minus of this and then negation of what? Say ax2 plus by2. And since it was minus of c, then it would be positive. Okay, then minus of ax2, minus of ax2, and b multiplied by a. So can you simplify it for me? You know that this particular quantity, that is actually ax2, get cancelled. So here what is remaining? Only thing is by2 minus ab divided by b. So this, am I right now? So when b it is divided by 2, it becomes by2 minus a. So this is written over here. So you can see that this point is this. Everybody is okay with this? This construction, every point is clear now. What are these points? Everybody is okay with that. So can you compare these two triangles now? You can, if you compare these two triangles, you can see that here is a 90 degree, here also is a 90 degree. These two lines are actually parallel. So this particular angle, these two angles are going to be the same. So in a triangle, if two angles are same, the third angle is also same. So essentially we have two triangles. We have two triangles where all the angles are same. What does it mean? It means that the ratio of their sides is also going to be the same. So if I say that what is the ratio of PQ upon PR, PQ upon PR, if I find out this particular thing, PQ and PR, you know that 90 degrees here and here the 90 degrees here. So there is a small flipping into the things. So PR is actually related to this UW. PR is related to the UW. Similarly, PQ is related to UV. PQ is related to UV. So we can write like this. So here, what is the value of PQ? You know that PQ is equal to D. That actually we want to find out. What is PR? What is PR? This distance. This distance, you know that because x is same. So y becomes this particular quantity. So you can say that y minus this quantity, and therefore it is y plus this particular quantity. What is UV? UV we have, by construction we have put it B. So it is B divided by UW. UW distance between these 2 points. You know that x2 y2 and x2 plus b y2 minus a. So the distance is going to be under root a square plus b square. The difference, Euclidean distance, formula of Euclidean distance. By this you come up that the d is equal to ax1 plus by1 plus c divided by this. So we put a mod over here because if this value comes negative, so there could not be any problem because distances cannot be negative. So we put a mod over here. So you also know that because everywhere you can multiply with a constant and therefore the equation remains the same. So that's why it's needed. So everybody is okay with this. That now I want that everybody should be able to understand that into the geometry, given a line, if there is a point, if you want to find out what is the distance, you can find out with this particular equation. Now you have the proof. Fine. Okay, so let us come to our business and try to understand that if we have a point x, we can represent it using n features x1, x2, xn, and let's assume that there is a hyperplane, and hyperplane, as I told you, that could be represented by that these w's, n number of w's plus one bias term, that I'm going to call it here b. Let me tell you that till now into the previous classes we were talking about this, we were telling it as a W0 and we were actually including into the parameter. But now in this particular class, whenever I'm going to talk about this particular equation, it's a linear equation. So in this particular discussion, we are not going to include W0 inside the W. The reason is this, that because of this multiplicating factor here, the W is actually here here the W, if I will include one also over here, so our problem would be this, that if we say that what is the mod of that particular quantity, here one is also is going to be added. That's not a good idea. Okay. So that's why here in this particular session, in particular discussion, we are going to have the W as a AB only. We are not going to only these values. So you know that into the any linear equation, I have written ABCD only just to just to link you with your intermediate calculus understanding. Otherwise, you know that in our every case we write it W0 and W1, and here X that we write are actually X1 and X2. So it is our general setting in which we actually are, and this particular quantity we actually say the W into the general setting we say. But here into this particular class today, we are going to see whenever I'm going to refer the W is going to only refer these two values. Make sense? Okay, be aware of that. So W is these n values, and then there is W0 term that we are earlier talking about is going to be, we are going to call it as a B. This equation few minutes back we have talked about that if we want to find out the distance of a point, we can write it into this particular way. We have few minutes back talked about, because it is a multiplication of w's, then it is going to be added with the bias term, and then it is divided by the mod of the w. This w is the L2 norm, as you know, and the L2 norm is actually defined by the square root of the summation of the square terms. Any questions on that till now? Any problem? So we have only talked about this, that we have a line or hyperplane, and we want to find out what is the distance of any given point from this particular hyperplane. We have seen that this equation can help you. So one very important thing is this, that you know that the property of the hyperplane is this, that it separates the region. If there is a hyperplane, it means what? That the complete space is being separated into the two parts. So for the classification, we are very happy that we can utilize one part as a positive, another part as a negative. And if we want to understand that for a particular point, that whether the point is into the positive side or negative side, we can utilize the same formula. We can put into this particular formula. If the value comes out to be negative, it means that it is on one side. Otherwise, it is going to be on the other side. Make sense? The value could be positive and negative. If because here I have not put the mod sign, so because mod sign is not there, so it essentially tells that with the direction you see that in what side that particular item is, whether the item is positive or negative. So everybody, right now we are into the situation where we understand that if plane equation of plane is given by what? If equation of plane is given using these two parameters. Are you okay with this? That equation of plane is given by this particular equation. Can you write yes? Everybody. Atharva, can you write? Is it okay? Athar, are you there? Yeah. So I'm telling that the equation of line or equation of hyperplane is given by these parameters. If a new point is given to me, that is x1, x2, that is x1, x2, xn, I can put into this particular formula and I can find out whether the value is positive and negative. By this, I can find out the classification also. Now let us find out that how to get this right parameter. What is the right parameter? If the data is given to me, how can find out the right kind of plane out of that? Make sense? Okay. So let us understand one more thing, very important topic, very simple topic, that is called the margin. Let us discuss one more thing that is called the margin. And we are going to explain this with respect to a linearly separable database. Let's assume that, what we mean by linearly separable database? Means the database is such that if we draw a line, then in one side all the items are negative and in another side all the items are positive. This is called the linearly separable data set. So let's assume that a data set is given to me and this particular data set is such that it is linearly separable. Let's assume it. In the real life, you know that data would be not like that, but let's assume that it is the scenario. Now, I am going to introduce you a line. Let's assume that this is the line. And if this is the line, then this is the right line that is separating the positive and negative thing. You can see that it is the right line. Then there is a concept of something called margin. What is the margin? Margin, I'm going to define. Margin is something that for all the data point, you find out that what is the distance of this particular point from this particular line. For all the data points, you find out what is the distance. And can you tell me where is the minimum distance? Let's assume that the minimum distance is here. Okay. So this particular quantity, this particular value, that what is the minimum distance? What is the minimum distance at which first data point is there? Okay. What is the minimum distance at which there is one data point? So this distance is called the margin. What is margin? This distance. Okay. Let's assume it is 5 pixels. So the 5 is going to be the answer as a margin. Okay. So how can we define this? We can define this in this particular way that for all the data point, you find out that what is the distance, and you know that this is the way we find out the distance. Okay, now this formula doesn't look alien to you. You understand that? Okay, I understand what is this particular formula. So that's why we invested some time so that you understand this particular formula. Everybody okay with this? That you find out for all the data point, you find out that what is the distance and return me the minimum value. Is it fine? Can anybody write yes? Who is happy with this formula? Okay. So this is interesting formula. Okay, that for all the data point, you find out that what is the distance. You know that you forget about this, whatever mathematics is there. You know that there is some formula is there. If you put the value of x into this particular formula, it gives you that what is the distance. You compute the distance for the other data point and return me the minimum one, and this is called the margin. Everybody is okay with this? That margin is okay. You understand what is the margin? Okay. So we know that most of the real life problems are not linearly separable. However, if we transform the data into the higher dimension space, then the data would be linearly separable. Okay. So essentially what it means that let's assume that this is the complete area, and let's assume that this is your area where you are the winner. All other places you are not the winner. Okay, let's assume that if you are here, you are not the winner. So my point is that let us try to understand here that the problem comes into this particular space, I would be able to solve that particular problem. But if the problem is given into this particular space, I would transform this problem so that it comes into this particular area. And now I'm happy. I can do this. I can solve this particular problem. So the same thing I'm telling, that if the problem is linearly separable, we can find out what is the equation of the line. But if the problem is not linearly separable, we can transform this problem in some way so that it becomes into the higher dimensional space. It becomes linearly separable, and then we can solve this particular problem. Make sense? So the method that we are going to discuss therefore becomes very general. Okay. However, we started with this particular fact that if the data is linearly separable, then we can find out the parameter. And now, look what I'm telling. I'm telling that even if the data is not linearly separable, we can transform it in higher dimensional space so that it becomes linearly separable. And now we are done. We can solve this particular problem. Make sense? So till now, please note that still we have not talked about anything about the SVM. We have only talked about a linear hyperplane. We have talked about only about the hyperplane that actually separates two areas, and we are just talking about these properties. Okay, let us discuss something more. That in this particular setting, few minutes back, what I told you my data is in this particular two particular different areas, and it is linearly separable. We have just talked about this, that my data is such that it is linearly separable. So if I come up a few minutes back, I think I have drawn this particular line, but I can also draw the same line. Are you okay with this? So if I draw this, use this line, is it fine? Yes, it is also fine because it is also this particular line. Just focus on this particular line. It is also fine because one side all the positive are there, the other side there is all the negatives. This line is also fine. So in this particular example, I have drawn various lines A, B, C, D, E. Multiple lines are there. You can see that E is also a line. It is also separating the things into the two different things. Make sense? Now I have a question for you. That whether all these lines are equally good. No, let me ask this a different question. First question, everybody, I need the answer for everybody. Okay, please type this. That whether all the lines are good. Atharv, Goransh. Yes, answer is yes. All the lines are good because they are classifying the things into the two parts. All the lines are good. Make sense? Everybody who is agreeing with me that all the lines are good. Next question, whether they are equally good. The answer is no. Make sense? Shashwat, are you here? Shashwat, are you here? Yes? You are not typing anything. What is happening? Okay. So that's very interesting. Okay. That all the lines are good because they are classifying the data into the right segments. But you know that they are not equally good. Some can be better. So can anybody of you tell that which is the best one right now out of these uh, five choices? Which is the best one? B. Looks like that it is going from here. Okay. So why you are picking B? Why you are picking B? Because looks like that it is in between. It is in between. So if you want to see a mathematical concept over there, so we can utilize this particular concept, margin. So you can say that if I'm going to use this particular line, my margin is going to be this, the minimum value is going to be this. If I'm going to use this particular line, minimum is going to be this. If I'm going to use this particular line, minimum is going to be this. If I'm going to use this particular line, looks like that minimum is going to be this. Okay. But if I am going to use this particular line, this B1, then the margin would be this much. And this is the largest margin. Okay. It has a highest margin. Make sense? So all the lines are not equally good. The lines which has that maximizes the margin looks like to be a better line. Idea is good. Okay. So you know that what is the margin? That you find out the distance for all the data points and for whatever the minimum value you want to return. Okay. So in what is the difference between these all three lines? The parameters W and B, the line parameter, the equation parameter, the plane parameters W and B. So you want to find out those parameters which actually maximizes this particular quantity. You want to find out your line, if your thing is better, when this particular quantity is actually going to be the larger. Okay, so you want to argmax means what? Find out the right parameters. So you are going to tell me that what are the right parameters that actually for all the data points that particular parameter has the minimum value of. If you see the minimum value, that is maximized. Minimum value is maximized. Okay. So we actually understand that a fat margin is better. Now let me tell you a very interesting idea. Okay. So let me tell you using on a different page. Okay. Let me tell you a very different page and that page. So let me tell you what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell you let's assume that these are the data example positive. Let's assume that these are the data items which are the negative. Okay. Let's assume that these are the negative point. I want to maximize the margin. Whether this line is good, answer is no. Whether this line is good, answer is no. Whether this line is good, looks like to be better. But everybody is okay with me. Can you write yes that this line is better? Can you write yes? But few minutes back, we just told that what we want to maximize the margin. Okay, try to focus on that. If we maximize the margin, so do you think that this is going to be going to give you the better margin? Because you are drawing the line over here, the largest margin is going to be this that you can get. But from here, if you put something of this at this particular line, it is going to be the better margin. Or you can draw in this particular side also. With respect to this particular distance, you are going to draw a line over here. This is going to be the better line. So instead of this line, I would plot this line. It is our more better line. So where is the best line? Best line is going to be at the infinite. Are you sure? Do you understand this particular point? What I told you? That if you only talk about this maximizing of the margin, this is actually not a good idea. However, we want the maximum margin, but with this we should also tell that the classification should be correct. So we should also bring the notion. We should also bring the notion of the accuracy in our understanding. If our classification accuracy, if we are not talking about the classification accuracy, it makes no sense. All of you are okay? We want to find out a parameter that maximizes this margin. But at the same time, my accuracy should be higher. If we are not talking about the accuracy, it makes no sense. So what does it mean? That the separating hyperplane should be in between the things. And let me tell one more thing, that this separating hyperplane, actually, whenever you would come up with the separating hyperplane, it would be into the middle only. It would be into the middle only. Why? Why not? Why it cannot be here? The answer is this, that you know that these are the two bad things. Number one and number two. Number one and number two. These are the bad, not bad, but in the sense that they are worst choice for the hyperplane. These are the two worst choices because their margin is very less. Okay, because their margin is, I have drawn bad. Okay, think that the point is in this particular side. Okay, so their margin is very less. So to be the better, what is expected from you, that instead of using this line, what would you do? Instead of using this particular line, you use this particular line. Instead of using this, you can use this. But if you go beyond the half, then again there would be a problem. Okay, because if this was a margin, so if you draw this line, the margin would be better. If you draw this line, the margin would be better. And since you want to make the margin better, so definitely you would keep going into this particular direction. But you cannot go this particular direction beyond something, because then the margin would become this particular distance. So the item that is going to be having the highest margin, it would be in between. Does it make sense? That particular point would be inside. That point would be into the middle. Make sense? Yes or no? Yes? Gauransh? Atharva? Okay, good. So 1 minute. Let us see this particular point once again. I want to tell you a very important thing. Few lectures back, we have talked about that. I think into the initial few lectures we have talked about that if you have a hyperplane, hyperplane would be represented by W0 x0 plus W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus dot 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 Wn xn is equal to 0. Say yes. Say yes. This hyper thing would be represented by this. If we create a vector this W0, W1, W2 dot 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 Wn, if I create a vector, this particular vector, this is a vector going to be into the perpendicular direction of this particular plane. Why? Because if you pick any particular point, any point from this thing, for example, any training example, first training example, if you take, so it can, this training example can also be represented by as a vector. Okay, this can also be represented by this. What is the dot product of W and X? It is going to be, you know that it is cos theta, and then you can divide it by W and X, then it is going to be the cos theta. And you know this quantity, because by this particular equation, this multiplication is going to be 0. This multiplication is going to be the 0. So this quantity becomes 0. Cos 0 means they are on the 90 degree. Cos 90 degree becomes, am I right, 0. So ultimately, what I wanted to tell you that if you have a hyperplane, then if you collect all these values, it also becomes a vector. And this vector is actually perpendicular. This vector is perpendicular to your what? To your plane. Everybody is okay? Can you write yes? Yes or no? Because we have seen that angle 1. Can you write yes? I would not go forward if you are not writing yes. Okay, how many of you have understood? Okay, great. So what I was telling, that W0 plus W1 x1 plus W2 x2 dot 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 0. This was the equation. I told that W is equal to W0, W1, Wn is a vector that is perpendicular on the plane. Now I wanted to tell you, what about 2W? If I multiply all these values with a W, whether this vector is also perpendicular, yes or no? So ultimately, what do I mean by perpendicularly? That it is going to be, this value is going to be 0. So if I multiply everywhere by 2, or for example, for sake of clarity, just I multiply with k everywhere, it is also going to be the 0. So this vector is also 0. Similarly, kw is also perpendicular to my plane. This vector is also perpendicular to my plane. Okay. So given a vector, uh, I can find out the plane. But we are going to see there are infinite such vectors, because k can take any value, infinite such values. There could be infinite such vector who are going to define the same plane. There could be infinite such vectors which are going to define the same plane. Are you agreeing with me? Okay, so let us continue our discussion. These things would be utilized very soon. So what I wanted to tell you is that we were a few minutes back talking about this particular quantity. That what is the distance of the data point, and you want what is the minimum distance of the data point, and we want to maximize this by utilizing special kind of weights and weights W and B. This particular quantity does not have anything with respect to the data. So maximizing this by dividing this thing make no sense. Can I take it out? Answer is yes. So I can write into this particular way. Yes or no? I need your quick response. Atharv. Can I write like this? Yes. Okay. Now I want to minimize this particular quantity. Okay. And what is this particular quantity? As I told you that this particular vector is going to, earlier we were using the same thing to define what? Define the plane, because these are the parameters. But we have seen that there could be infinite many parameters. If I change the value of W, whether this quantity would change or not, this quantity would change. So if I want to minimize, it would become 0, because I can, every time I can find out the parameters so that this becomes 0. So the minimization problem have a very serious loophole here. Can you see this? This minimization problem has a very serious loophole. Why? I just told you that this particular vector is not going to be the single vector. If I leave you and I ask you that what is the right parameter, you would come up with a parameter. Because of this outer part, this problem is going to happen, because I am going to change the parameters. So if I change the parameter, I can always change the parameter in such a way so that only the value of k is going to change. And with this kind of change, every time whatever value you come up with, I can reduce that value and make it 0. So it is not always good, because, and since I can change this in whatever value, once again try to understand, I if I want to minimize it, so it essentially means that I can make this thing to any particular quantity, any quantity I can make it. For example, if I want to make 1, so I can find out appropriate value of k so that I can take it that particular value. So all the values I can find out over here. Can you see this? Because I have a handle over here, so I can change always the parameter so that this value can be anything. So it's not good idea here. That's an interesting observation, that it's not a good idea to minimize this particular quantity anymore. So what would be the nice idea, that if I say that let me fix this value, I say that let me see that this value is going to be 1, and I say that I want this value to be 1. Now we are happy, because now I have fixed, because if the value is fixed, then all the things k would also be fixed. Okay, for a particular value, then you can modify this thing to find out such a way so that this value is going to be fixed. Very interesting observation that need to be incorporated in our minimization problem, that tells that this value, this complete value is going to be 1. We can take any value. Okay, you can take any value, but let me fix that this value is going to be 1. Make sense? Make sense? This is only coming because of this particular fact that we have just few minutes back discussed, because if we are free to change the W's, then we can change this particular quantity to whatever value we want, because we have a multiplying factor, and therefore we can reduce this value. All right. So now we know everything that we actually want to minimize for the right kind of thing. We actually want to find out the parameters such that this value is actually maximized. Make sense? Again, this values need to be maximized, and since it is 1 upon W, so we can write that instead of max, we can write that minimization problem, that we want to minimize the value of mod of W. Norm of W, I should not say mod, it is norm of W. All right, okay. So SVM is a linear decision machine. Now we are going to talk about the SVM. What is SVM? First time I'm going to talk about in this particular lecture after 40 minutes, that what is SVM. Machine means what? That there is an equation of the plane, and if you want to find out what is the classification for a new point, you will be putting in this particular equation, and you will be finding out what is right. So in this particular setting, few minutes back, we have seen that we want that for the positive point, this value should be larger than some maybe gamma. I don't know, because fat margin classifier we want to build. So what is the margin? I don't know. So margin, based on the margin, this quantity should be greater than some gamma for all the data points for the positive point. And for the negative point, it should be less than, because negative points are below. So they should be also below gamma below. Positive points are above this particular line. How much? Gamma. Negative point would be below this point, minus gamma. Okay, why? Because you know that this plane would be in between. For the negative points, you know that for a given point, if you want to find out the distance, it is going to be this particular formula. So how can you actually maximize the distance? You can minimize, as we have few minutes back that minimizing the value of norm of W. So we need that this particular quantity should be greater than the gamma time W. It should be less than gamma time and W for the negative thing, for the positive, same thing. And similarly, we have just few minutes back that we have discussed that with the different values. So we applying the same logic that we have seen that actually not applying the same logic. It is we are going to tell the same thing few minutes back that we told that instead of having any value over here that we want to minimize, it is better idea to have the one. Few minutes back we have talked about this. So we want to make it greater than 1 and we want to make it less than 1. And so that we can find out the classification. So this value is greater than 1 for positive. This value is less than 1 for negative. So if I multiply with the what is the positive, what is the level over here. So because plus 1 multiplied by this, it is greater than 0. Minus 1 multiplied by this quantity, this less than becomes. In case we want yi w transpose x in plus b should be greater than 1. It is nothing more than this, that classification level. Here I am assuming that the classification level is plus 1 and minus 1. Okay? Instead of 0, 1, it is plus 1 and minus 1. So they are going to be, this quantity should also be there. It actually says that all the points are actually rightly classified. What does it mean that all the points are actually rightly classified? So if the many data points are there, the line that I'm going to come is going to be this. So the first point, which actually is the most nearest one, those points are called the support vectors. They have a special name into this particular model. They are called the support vector. Okay. I told you that what we want to find out, what we want to do, we want to minimize this quantity. So minimizing W is also equivalent to the minimizing half of W square. So how I am writing, why I am writing this half of W square? It is only for the mathematical convenience. It will be sure very soon clear to you. So if I want to minimize the value of W, let me minimize the value of half W square. Okay, and with this constant, because I don't want to minimize this independently, this condition should also be there that they should be greater than 1. Okay, so one method to minimize this multivariate problem is to use a Lagrange multiplier. What is the Lagrange multiplier equation? Half of W, this the quantity that we want to minimize, minus of Lagrange constants, alpha i's, and this complete expression where I have taken this into this particular side, this should be positive. So I written yi W transpose x plus b minus 1. This is the Lagrange multiplier way. Okay. So if I want to find out what is the value of b and W, so you the 0. So let me find out what is the derivative of this thing with respect to the b. Okay, with respect to the b, you know that the first part does not have any b, so it vanishes. Second part only here is a b, and what is multiplied with this alpha I yi. You know that now this thing would be multiplied over here, and if you find out derivative, all other things would become 0. So this and b would vanish because it's a single term when you are going to differentiate with respect to the b, but it's going to be there only that alpha I yi summation for all the data point, it should be 0. Okay, so this is the one condition that we actually come up with. When we we find out the derivative with respect to the W. So you know that W is here. That's why I told you that why we are going to use it. It is W squared. It is 2 multiplied by W, half of this. Then it goes away. You get W over here. W is also here. So you have to also find out what is the W. So you know that what is the things that are multiplied with the W, x, y, and alpha. So you see that the summation of x, y, and alpha. And then it should be, this quantity should be equal to 0 because you want to find out the optimal value. So you get the W is equal to this particular quantity. Once again, alpha I is multiplied by yi xi for all the data items that you have. So let me put this thing into this equation because this is the Lagrangian with the optimal values. When you get the optimal value, you are going, let me substitute over here. So you substitute over here, what is the value of B? Summation of alpha I yi into b, it becomes like that. And you know that no, I think this alpha I yi is multiplied with the b, and then the summation comes inside, then you get this particular term. This summation comes over here, you get the summation of alpha is. So this particular quantity, because you know that few minutes back that this alpha I yi is equal to 0, so you get alpha I y is equal to 0, then it is multiplied by b, this term vanishes. What remains, this thing is there, and w transpose, you know that what is the value of w? You know that what is the value of w? W is the summation of alpha y and x. Summation of alpha y and x. So you put it summation of alpha y and x, and it is multiplied by again with the same thing. So you can put in this particular equation. So here single multiplication, single summation is written, but you please treat it as a double summation. Multiple quantities are there. There is one summation term and another summation term was there. They are multiplied, so double summation term would come, but just for the sake of brevity, we have written single summation. So all possible multiplication of alphas, y's, and x. This is going to be the quantity.
Hello.
And here the value half is also there. And then this quantity, the same thing you are going to get from here also. So when they are substituted, how come? Because w was there. Na? If you substitute into the w, you are going to get the same value. So minus becomes half over here. So this is the value that you get from this. To minimize this value, we have to maximize. Once again, our objective. What is our objective? One have to maximize this particular quantity, subject to all the alpha I is greater than 0. Why? Because into the Lagrange multiplier, all the alphas are actually greater than 0. And with this particular condition that few minutes back we have written that what was the that we have solved. But with these conditions, we actually have to find out the maximum value of this particular thing. So now you can apply any linear programming solver. You can apply any LP solver over here and find out what are the appropriate values of alpha. Can you see this? That now you can apply any of the linear programming solvers and you can find out what are the values are alphas. So if the alphas are large, when you come up with the solution, if alphas are large, the corresponding training samples are actually going to be the support vectors. Otherwise, when alpha is not large, it is equal to 0, near about the 0, then it is those points are not the support vectors, support vector points. So what is the important thing is this, that after getting the support vectors, you can neglect all the data points and you can represent the data using this small set of examples which are actually support vectors. You can utilize this formula that few minutes back we have actually computed with to find out the values of W. When you have the values of W means what? You have the value of the plane. So actually this gives you that now you have the value of plane. If you have the value of plane, and that is a fat margin classifier because we have actually built the system in such a way. So this is the equation of the plane that represent the SVM, linear decision boundary. Few minutes I would take to explain very small concepts. So for example, here it is just a illustration that let's assume that this is the data. So you can see that this data is not linearly separable, but looks like that if you draw a circle, the data would become the linearly separable. So you can, this was a two-dimensional data. You can convert it to the three-dimensional data where the Z value is going to be what? Z value is going to be x1 minus xc, y minus yc square, where I can take this point and say that this is the xc, yc point, and with respect to the things, I'm going to create this particular Z. So what would happen that if whatever point I put the xc, yc, you can think that it's a well, okay? From outside, then it is going to be deeper, deeper, deeper. It looks like a well. So this well would look, if you see from the different angle, so this would look like this. So all the points which are here, they would be here. All the points which are actually here, outside point, they would be here. So you can draw a line that can cut, and if you trace those points which are over here, it comes out to be as a circle. So you can see that again. You can see that you can find out the a hyperplane that can separate all the data points. So the data points which are not actually separable, we have seen that a method that by introducing one more variable, we can separate the data point into two parts. Let us conclude our talk by saying that support vector machine, some advantages and disadvantages of the support vector machine. It works well with a clear margin of separation, but if you know that if they are not there, you can transform the data in some way so that you can do it. However, problem with the SVM is this, that it, 1 minute. Yeah, problem with the SVM is this, that it takes very long time to find out the right parameters. And this is one of the biggest problem. And another thing is this, that whenever I'm telling that I can transform the problem into this right dimensional space, finding out what is that right transformation may also not be that easy. One thing is this, that it does not stick to the local minima and therefore gives a effective solution for the high dimensional space. When your data is of very high dimensional space, you can utilize this thing, because it also thinks that if the things are not linearly separable, I would send them to the high dimensional space. So into the high dimensional space, you have seen that it was a problem to have the data into the higher dimensional space, but this particular method works well when the data is of very high dimensional space. Okay. It is memory efficient. As I told you that lot of data points were there, and but when we have come up with the parameter, then we have find out that which are the points which are actually nearer to that particular plane, and then I can neglect all these points. I can remove this thing from the data, and only these points are represented to you. And wherever I need to find out the model, I can again utilize on the same thing. So very efficient way to represent the data. Only few points which are actually the support vector, they can be used to represent the data. There are a few disadvantages also, such as that it does not perform well when the data set is large, as the training time is higher. As I told you, that you have to solve the linear programming problem to find out the parameters, and it would be very difficult if the number of training examples are large. It does not perform well when the target class are overlapping. Definitely, because as I told you that the two classes should be separate. Then only you'll be able to find out the fat margin. Otherwise, if they are not separated, then it will be very difficult to go ahead with this. So how to, what changes are needed, we will discuss into the next class. To convert this, if the data is not into, if it is an overlapping class, then what to do. Probability estimates are not directly provided, so sometimes it is not, you don't know that it is telling that it is positive, it is telling that it is negative, but how much confidence it has, not going to tell that thing. However, sometimes people say that if the item is you can utilize the distance of the point as a probability, then it says that the items which are actually far away, they are having the more they are more near to that particular class, but sometimes it may be abstract idea. We will discuss that how into the next class. Okay. What I told you, that higher classification confidence for the points lying far away from the decision boundary. This point has the high confidence as compared to this point. Okay, to be being positive. For example, this is positive class, so this is more positive than this. So sometimes it may not be that good idea. So we will see that for why into the next class. That's all for today. Thank you very much.